My name's Daniel. I'm 27, and this is the story of the last time I ever let myself feel like a background character in my own family. My sister, Amanda, is 2 years older than me. Growing up, we were never especially close. She was always the golden child, the one who got straight A's, had the perfect boyfriend, now husband, and never forgot to remind everyone of how helpful she was in organizing mom's birthday or dad's retirement party. Me? I was the quiet one. I kept to myself, did my own thing. I got into art school instead of business like our parents wanted, and somehow that became my permanent identity in the family. The sensitive, struggling artist, even after I landed a stable job and moved into my own place. But I didn't mind it much until Amanda's wedding. Amanda got engaged last year, and from the moment she announced it at our parents' Christmas dinner, complete with a slideshow, I kid you not, the entire family seemed to lose their minds. Suddenly, everything was Amanda this and Amanda that. My mom started calling me just to talk about Amanda's wedding plans. Every family text turned into a stream of bridal shower updates, venue photos, and countdowns to the big day. At first, I thought, okay, she's the bride, let her have her moment. I even congratulated her genuinely, told her I was happy for her. But slowly, I started to notice things. For example, Amanda never asked me to be in the wedding party. That didn't really surprise me, but still, it stung a little. I saw photos later of her fiancé's younger brother holding her veil and my cousin Tyler, who she only sees once a year, in a tux standing beside her. I figured maybe it was just a small party, but nope, it was 10 people on each side. 10. I was invited, of course, but only as a guest. No speech, no reading, no special mention. Still, I try not to take it personally. Maybe she assumed I was busy with work. Maybe she just didn't think I'd be into that kind of thing. That's what I told myself, repeatedly. Then came the rehearsal dinner. I showed up on time, gift in hand, dressed respectfully. Amanda barely acknowledged me. She was laughing with her bridesmaids at the other end of the table, and when I went over to say hi, she gave me one of those fake smiles people give waiters when they're annoyed. The whole night, no one really talked to me. Not mom, not dad, not even my aunt who usually corners me to ask if I'm dating anyone. When I left, I had this weird feeling in my chest, like I'd just watched a movie where everyone knew their lines but me. I didn't say anything. I just nodded goodbye and drove home in silence. Still, I showed up the next day. The ceremony was at this beautiful lakeside venue, all white roses and twinkling lights. I wore my best suit, brought the gift Amanda had listed on her registry, an absurdly expensive Vitamix, and walked into the reception hall looking for the seating chart. That's when I felt it. That moment. You know the one, where your stomach kind of drops and your mind tries to catch up. My name was scribbled in the bottom corner of the chart, not even typed like the rest, handwritten. Amanda had perfect calligraphy place cards for everyone else. Mine looked like a last-minute addition, and I had to double-check that it actually said Daniel, because it was barely legible. Table 19. When I asked one of the ushers where that was, she glanced at the chart, then at me, and led me through the main hall, out the side door, and into a weird side alcove near the restrooms. And there it was. A folding chair. One. No table, no other guests, no decoration. Just a single white plastic chair with my name card taped to the back. It was directly across from the kitchen entrance, where servers bustled in and out with trays of food. I stared at it, thinking there had to be a mistake. Then Amanda's maid of honor walked by, did a double take, and said, "Oh yeah?" She said you'd be fine back here. She gave a weak shrug like she was embarrassed for me, then walked off before I could even respond. I stood there stunned. I looked around. Every table in the main hall was packed. Even our third cousins from Ohio had prime seating. I could see Amanda laughing at the head table, clinking glasses with her new in-laws. She didn't even glance in my direction. I felt like I was 10 years old again, being told to sit this one out, while Amanda showed off for guests in the living room. I clenched my jaw, turned back to the hallway, and quietly made my way to the cake table. It was near the front of the room, right by the dance floor. I placed the Vitamix gift bag right in the center of the table, deliberately, and walked out without saying a word. No drama, no announcement, just silence. The cool evening air hit me as I stepped outside, and for a moment, I felt tears prick at the corners of my eyes. Not because I was sad, because I was furious. Furious that I had let this happen again, that I had told myself, over and over, to be understanding. to give people grace, to not make things awkward. I was halfway across the parking lot when I heard someone yell my name. I turned, and there she was, Amanda, in her wedding dress, running across the gravel lot in heels. Her hair was slightly frizzy, her bouquet half forgotten in one hand. "Daniel," she called again, louder, her voice shaky. I didn't move. I just watched her, standing there like some twisted scene out of a rom-com. Except the groom wasn't the one running. She stopped a few feet away, breathless. "Where are you going?" she asked, like it wasn't obvious. "I think you made that pretty clear," I said. Her face fell. "Wait, can we talk?" But I didn't respond. I just stared at her, waiting to see if she'd actually say something meaningful, something real. And just as she opened her mouth to speak again, I raised my hand, not angrily, just enough to stop her. "No," I said. "Not here. Not like this." Amanda blinked, confused. "Daniel, it's my wedding day." I let out a short breath, the kind that's part laugh, part disbelief. Exactly. And somehow, that meant I didn't even deserve a seat at a table. She looked around, as if realizing for the first time we were standing in the middle of the gravel lot in front of the venue. Cars were parked in neat rows, music drifted from the open reception hall doors, and a few guests were staring through the windows. "It wasn't meant to be like that," she said quietly. We ran out of space." I shook my head. "Amanda, there were 20 tables in there. 10 people at each." I counted. "And yet, you somehow found space for everyone else, including people you haven't seen in 5 years, but your own brother got a folding chair by the restrooms." She fumbled with her bouquet, not looking at me. "It's not what you think." I raised an eyebrow. "Okay, then tell me. What is it?" There was a long pause. She didn't answer. That silence told me everything I needed to know. She didn't have a reason. Or maybe she did, but she didn't think I deserved to hear it. And that's when something in me snapped. Not in a loud, explosive way. In a quiet, irreversible one. Like a door clicking shut behind you. "You know," I said, voice calm but sharp, "I've been second to you my whole life. Second to your grades, your boyfriends, your big announcements. Every Christmas, every birthday, every family dinner, it's always been Amanda's story and Daniel's just here. And I never complained. Not once. I showed up. I gave support. I laughed at your jokes. I let you shine, because I thought that's just what family did." Amanda finally met my eyes. Hers were glassy. "Daniel, I didn't mean. But this." I cut her off. "This was deliberate. You didn't forget me. You minimized me. You put me in the one place where no one would see me. No one would talk to me. You made me invisible. And the worst part is, I actually dressed up and brought you a gift thinking maybe, this time would be different." Her lips quivered. "I was just stressed. The planner said we had too many guests, and I thought, you'd understand. You always understand. That line. You always understand." I almost laughed again, but there was no humor left. "Yeah, that's what you've always counted on, isn't it?" She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Please don't do this right now. Everyone's inside." I gestured back toward the venue. "Then go back inside. Get back to your perfect wedding. Cut the cake. Toss the bouquet. Pretend everything is picture perfect." "I didn't mean to hurt you." "I know," I said, and that's what made it worse. Her shoulders sank. "What do you want me to do, Daniel? You want me to apologize in front of everyone? You want me to move someone and give you a better seat? Fine, I'll do it." "No," I interrupted. "What I want is for you to actually value me when there's nothing in it for you. Not out of guilt. Not because someone's watching. Just because I'm your brother. And clearly, that's asking too much." She opened her mouth again, but I didn't wait. I turned and walked away. I didn't look back, not even when I heard her start to cry. Not even when she said my name again. I got in my car, closed the door, and just sat there. Hands on the wheel, heart pounding. I didn't start the engine. I just stared out at the venue through the windshield, thinking about everything. The years of small slights, quiet dismissals, jokes at my expense. The way our parents always brushed it off. That's just how Amanda is. The way I always told myself to suck it up. To let it go. But that night, I didn't let it go. I let it sink in. And as I sat there in the driver's seat, watching the reception hall lights flicker behind the trees, I realized something that hit me harder than any of her words. If I hadn't walked out, she would have let me sit in that corner all night. Alone. Unseen. Disposable. That realization didn't make me angry. It made me cold. Numb. A knock on my window jolted me. I turned, expecting Amanda. But it was my mom. I rolled the window down halfway. Daniel, she said softly, like she was talking to a stray dog that had wandered too close. What are you doing out here? What does it look like? I replied, not unkindly, but not warmly either. She sighed, clearly annoyed that I was making a scene. Your sister's crying inside. You can't just walk out like that. I didn't make her cry, I said. She did that all on her own. You're overreacting. That word. Overreacting. I'd heard it 100 times growing up. Whenever Amanda took something from me. Whenever I got upset. Whenever I dared to call out the double standards. I stared at her. Did you know where she put me? My mom blinked. Well, the seating was a little tight. We told Amanda not to invite so many people. You let your only son sit on a folding chair by the bathroom, Mom. It's not a big deal. There it was. Again. I took a deep breath. You all think I'm fine with scraps. You think I'll smile through anything. That I'll always be there, clapping quietly from the sidelines while Amanda gets the spotlight. She crossed her arms. You're ruining her day. No, I said. She did that the moment she decided I didn't matter enough to sit with the rest of the family. Mom opened her mouth, probably to say something about how I was being dramatic, how I needed to think about Amanda's feelings. But I rolled up the window before she could speak. Then, and only then, I started the engine. As the car pulled away from the venue, I saw Amanda through the rearview mirror. Still in her dress, standing just past the entrance. Still crying. But for the first time in years. I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. I didn't go home right away. I drove for hours that night, no destination in mind. Just me, the hum of the engine, and this strange mix of emotions swirling inside me. Relief, anger, grief, and something else I hadn't felt in a long time. Clarity. I'd spent so many years telling myself to keep the peace, to be the understanding one, the reasonable one, the one who doesn't stir up conflict. But that night, sitting in my car miles away from the venue, I realized peace isn't real if it only exists at your expense. When I finally got home, around 2 a.m., my phone had 27 missed calls, 12 from Amanda, 7 from Mom, 3 from my dad, which was surprising. He usually let Mom handle the emotional stuff. And the rest? A couple from my cousin Riley, and even one from Aunt Linda. I didn't check the voicemails. I didn't reply to the texts. I turned my phone off and tossed it on the counter like a piece of trash I didn't know anything to. I slept like a rock. The next morning, my phone was still off, and my apartment was quiet. No wedding photos, no speeches, no awkward small talk. Just silence, and I loved it. I made myself a proper breakfast, took a long shower, then finally powered my phone back on. The notifications hit like a tsunami. The family group chat had exploded. Messages flying from every direction. Amanda, Daniel, where did you go? Everyone's asking what happened. I can't believe you just left. You made me cry on my wedding day. Mom, you owe your sister an apology. People noticed. You embarrassed the family. You better fix this before the brunch today. Dad's lone message. Call your mother. But Riley's message? That one made me pause. I saw what happened. That was messed up. You didn't deserve that. It was the first time anyone in the family had ever said something like that to me. It hit harder than I expected. Still, I didn't respond. I didn't go to the post-wedding brunch either. That morning, I got a follow-up email from the wedding website. One of those automatic "thank you for attending" messages. Amanda had pre-written it, clearly. A smiling picture of her and her husband posing under fairy lights. I hovered over the reply button, then moved to my email settings and marked it as spam. I spent the day doing things I loved, painting, walking around the city, grabbing coffee. It was peaceful. For once, I didn't have to brace myself for a snide remark or a guilt trip. But I knew it wouldn't last. Not with my family. That evening, the real fallout began. Amanda called. I picked up. Her voice was soft, almost rehearsed. Daniel, I think we need to talk. Now you want to talk? I didn't mean for it to go the way it did. I was overwhelmed. Things got out of control. You had a year to plan this, Amanda. Don't insult me with overwhelmed. Silence on her end. Then, Mom said you're still upset. I'm not upset, I said. I'm done. She was quiet again. You don't mean that. Oh, I do. Because here's the thing, Amanda, I didn't leave just because of the chair. I left because the chair was the final straw. Every family event, every celebration, every chance I had to feel like a part of this family. You've taken that and made me feel like an extra in your movie. And last night, you made it very clear I'm not even an extra. I'm not in the credits at all. She tried the classic manipulation tactic. So what? You're just going to cut off your family? Over a chair? No, I said calmly. Over years of disrespect. Over being treated like I'm disposable. Over the fact that no one, not you, not mom, not even dad, stopped to say, hey, maybe Daniel shouldn't be sitting by the bathrooms. That's what this is about. I cried. She said, a little more forcefully now. You walked out of my wedding. Everyone saw. You made your choices, I said. And so did I. She started to say something else, but I hung up. That week, I didn't respond to the group chat. I ignored every attempt at family intervention. Mom texted again, this time a long paragraph about how I was tearing the family apart and how Amanda felt awful and that I should be the bigger person. I replied with exactly one sentence. Tell Amanda to return the Vitamix. 2 days later, I got a call from Dad. Now, my dad's the kind of man who only speaks when something's broken or someone's passed away. So when he called, I knew it wasn't going to be a friendly check-in. I don't know what's going on between you and your sister, he said bluntly. But this needs to end. No, it doesn't, I replied. It needs to finally be seen for what it is. What's that? Favoritism. Gaslighting. Years of pretending I'm fine being ignored. He huffed. You've always been sensitive. I laughed. No, I've always been silent. Not the same thing. He didn't get it. I didn't expect him to. And then the real kicker came 3 days later. My mom posted wedding photos on Facebook. The whole family was tagged. Everyone smiling, raising glasses, dancing. But I wasn't in a single photo. Not even in the background. I scrolled through them slowly, carefully. There were over 120 pictures, and not one included me. It was like I had never been there. Like I'd been edited out. That's when I knew this wasn't just a mistake. This was who they were, who they had always been. So I did the one thing they never saw coming. I posted my own photo. It was from the morning after the wedding. Me, standing in front of a mural I'd painted years ago, sunlight on my face, holding a coffee. Caption, sometimes walking away isn't dramatic. Sometimes it's necessary. It got more likes than Amanda's entire wedding album. Friends from college, co-workers, even Riley commented with hearts and clapping emojis. Some messaged me privately saying, I always wondered why you were never at family stuff. Or proud of you, man. Amanda didn't comment, but Mom did. She commented, you're being cruel. I deleted it, then blocked her. That was the day I started cutting ties, not just emotionally, but digitally too. I changed the locks to my apartment. I stopped attending family gatherings. I stopped being available. The next family holiday came and went without me. They called. They texted. I didn't respond because I wasn't their background character anymore. I was gone. 2 months passed. 2 full months of complete silence from me and escalating chaos from them. At first, Amanda kept texting. Nothing angry, just those insincere, placating messages like, hope you're doing okay, can we talk soon? And the occasional, I miss you. I didn't respond. Then came the guilt bomb text from Mom. I don't know what happened to you. Your sister is hurting. And my personal favorite, your absence is ruining our family. But none of them, not a single one, apologized. Not once. They were more upset that I walked away than they were about the reason why I walked away. That told me everything I needed to know. I spent that time focusing on my art. Without the constant emotional weight of trying to belong in a family that treated me like an afterthought, I actually began to feel free. I applied for a gallery showcase. I got accepted. I started selling pieces again. I started living again. Then came Amanda's big mistake. It happened in early spring, around what would have been our family's annual spring fling weekend, a cheesy name Mom came up with years ago where we'd rent a cabin, eat too many marshmallows, and pretend we were a happy family for 3 days straight. This year, I obviously didn't go. But Amanda did something else instead. She posted an open letter on Facebook. She titled it, To My Brother, Wherever You Are. It was long, rambling, self-pitying, full of half-truths and emotional manipulation. She wrote about how life is short, how she never meant to hurt me, and how she wished I would find it in my heart to forgive. That part almost sounded sweet, until she added the line that made my jaw drop. I wish Daniel could understand that weddings are chaotic and people get overlooked. I thought he would be stronger than that. I never expected him to abandon me on the most important day of my life. Boom. There it was. The narcissism, the blame shifting, the entire reason I walked away in the first place plastered online for hundreds of people to see. All under the disguise of healing. And, of course, the post went semi-viral among our extended family and friends. Dozens of comments rolled in, people offering sympathy, saying things like family is everything, you tried your best, or brothers can be so dramatic sometimes. Then someone tagged me. Just one person. A friend from college who had met Amanda once and clearly saw through her nonsense. He wrote, "Didn't you stick Daniel in a folding chair by the bathroom?" LOL, this feels like leaving out a few key details. It was the crack in the dam. Suddenly, more people began asking questions. A few distant relatives messaged me privately to ask if what she said was true. One even said, "She made it sound like you just stormed off for no reason. But then someone told me you weren't even seated with the family." I didn't respond directly, but I saw an opportunity. A week later, I posted my own open letter. Not on Facebook, though. I created a blog post, complete with photos. The first photo was my seat, the folding chair next to the bathrooms, with a plate of half-eaten cake sitting on a trash can beside it. I had snapped it with my phone right before I walked out that night. Then I wrote the story. The full story. I explained how I'd been treated like an afterthought at every major family event. How Amanda had handwritten my name on a place card and literally placed me outside the reception hall. How her maid of honor told me to my face, she said you'd be fine back here. I didn't go on a rant. I didn't attack her character. I just stated facts. Calmly. Clearly. With timestamps. I even included a screenshot of the wedding registry confirmation that showed I had gifted Amanda a $600 Vitamix, the same one she never returned or acknowledged. Then I ended with this. Walking away from your family is never easy, but staying where you're constantly made to feel invisible is harder. I didn't ruin Amanda's wedding. She did that when she decided I wasn't worth a seat at the table, literally. I walked away quietly. She went public. So now, here's the truth. Do with it what you will. That post got shared. A lot. Not viral, but enough that word spread through our social circles. My old art professor shared it. So did Riley. Even a few of Amanda's own friends commented supportive things like, "Wow, I never knew. That's awful, and this actually explains a lot." Amanda didn't comment. But 2 days later, Mom called me in a fury. "You had no right to post that online." "Neither did Amanda," I said. "She was trying to reach out to you." "No. She was trying to control the narrative," I snapped. "And I'm done letting her." Then I heard it, the first real silence from my mom in years. Not the passive-aggressive kind. The stunned kind. The kind where she realized, maybe for the first time, that I wasn't going to roll over anymore. I didn't hang up. I waited. Finally, she said, "You embarrassed the family." I laughed. "No, Mom. I told the truth. That's not the same thing." And I hung up. That was the last time I spoke to her for a long while. 3 weeks later, I got a package in the mail. No note. No return address. Inside? The Vitamix. Still sealed. That would have been satisfying enough, but karma wasn't done yet. Turns out Amanda's little stunt had consequences. One of her bridesmaids, Tessa, the maid of honor who made the comment about my seat, was a graphic designer who also freelanced for a wedding planning blog. Apparently, she'd been quietly appalled by the whole wedding drama and ended up using Amanda's wedding as a cautionary tale in an article titled, "How Not to Treat Guests at Your Wedding." She changed the names, but the details? Identical. The folding chair. The bathroom placement. The "you'll be fine back here" line. The article blew up. It got reposted on Reddit, on wedding forums, even on a BuzzFeed listicle called Top 10 Worst Wedding Seating Disasters. Amanda didn't just look bad. She became a meme. One photo from her wedding, the head table, cropped to show Amanda laughing while a guest is blurred in the background carrying a folding chair, became a symbol of bad wedding etiquette. She eventually deleted her Facebook. Not long after, Riley texted me, "Did you see the article? Amanda's fuming. Mom says she won't come out of her house." I didn't respond. Because finally, the world saw what I'd always known. Amanda wasn't the golden child. She was just someone who never expected the spotlight to turn the other way. And me? I kept painting. I hosted my first solo exhibit. The piece that got the most attention was a minimalist portrait called Empty Chair. Just a stark white folding chair, set against a dark, echoing background. I never explained it to anyone. I didn't have to. Because people saw it, and they understood. The final text I got from Amanda, months later, was this: "I didn't know you felt that way. I'm sorry. I wish you told me sooner." I didn't reply. Some apologies only come when the damage is irreversible. And some stories are better left as finished paintings, quiet, still, and complete.